Hey there, you're watching CITAM Church Online. And today I want to welcome you as we consider the love of the Lord and how that love can be an anchor for our souls, an anchor in the midst of turbulence, an anchor in the midst of waves that threaten to toss us this way and that way, to and fro. This anchor is talked about by Moses, God's servant, in the book of Psalms. The Psalter was the prayer book of the children of Israel. It was the hymn book of God's people. It was formative for their worship. And so I want us to consider Psalms, the book of Psalm chapter 90, verse 14. Moses prays, "Satisfy us in the morning with your faithful love, so that we may shout with joy and be glad all our days." Satisfy us in the morning, not just with anything. Satisfy us with your faithful love. You know, when you think about going forth into a new day, a fresh start, most of us would want to start that day with a sense of energy, a sense of zest. And we often do this by ensuring that we have had a good meal, we have had breakfast, we are energized, we're good to go for the day. And Moses approaches this from the perspective of our relationship with the Lord. And he says that there's something that needs to fill our hearts. There's something that you and I need to feast upon. And it is the reality of God's love, the faithfulness of God's love. A love that does not yield, a love that is relentless, a love that is available from generation to generation. And so that's the place where Moses is saying, you and I need to start the day. We need to start the day with this spiritual feast, with this breakfast of a king. Have you had this breakfast lately? Have you feasted on God's love for you? And you may be wondering why this is important. It's very important for you to start the day in this kind of way, because to go without an assurance of the love of God is to go without an anchor. It's to be like a ship that is being turned by violent winds, by raging winds and waves, this way and that way. And when you have an assurance of God's love, it serves as this anchor to your soul, as the hymn writers sang, that we have an anchor that cannot fail, firm and steady. And I paraphrase. And so you need to start the day in this way. Satisfy us, satisfy me with your faithful love. You see, friends, the human heart, as John Calvin said, is an idol-making factory, an idol manufacturing factory that churns God substitutes. In other words, when we do not find satisfaction in God's love, we tend to look for it elsewhere. We tend to look for this love in all the wrong places and in all the wrong things. And oftentimes, those are good things, God's good gifts. It can be your spouse. You can look for love inappropriately. You can borrow love inappropriately from family or from work or from money or from all these other things, which are God's gifts. But then Moses is saying, we need to be satisfied with God's faithful love. That will be the anchor for your soul. That is what will help you to go forth into the day with a shout of joy, with a sense of gladness. That's what will give you zest for life, when you know how deep the Father's love for me. Whether there's a Delta variant or not, how deep the Father's love for me. Whether work is going great or it's one of those ordinary days, how deep the Father's love for me. My prayer for you is that you would feast on this breakfast, the breakfast of a king, which is the faithful love of the Lord. God bless you, and thank you for watching.